are trying to do in Washington, D.C., and at the U.S. Justice Department and at the FBI is something that I think inarguably is worse than that. Because what they are trying to do tonight is not trying to stop an active investigation. Tonight, they are seeking revenge for law enforcement personnel who participated in a previous investigation that is now over. And the reason that is worse is because the point of what they are doing tonight is to permanently, irrevocably change law enforcement in the United States of America. To make it so FBI agents and prosecutors just won't, in the future, pursue criminal investigations and criminal cases if the suspected criminals in those cases are associated with the president and this movement that supports him. They are trying to not get rid of an investigation, they're trying to get rid of American law enforcement as we know it. They are trying to get rid of the very idea of an independent, justice-is-blind system that makes America who we are. This is not the Saturday Night Massacre. This is considerably worse, and it is hard to see how what happens tonight can be corrected, can be undone, the way the Saturday Night Massacre was undone within 12 days. This is a really serious thing. Now, before tonight, they had already fired prosecutors who had worked on the special counsel's investigation that brought charges against President Trump. The charges for the alleged hoarding and mishandling of classified documents, charges for illegally trying to overthrow the results of the 2020 presidential election. They already fired prosecutors involved with those investigations. What they are doing tonight is apparently attempting a mass purge of prosecutors who worked on all the other January 6th cases, the ones just involving rioters who attacked the Capitol building on Trump's behalf. Tonight, approximately 30 prosecutors who worked on January 6th rioter prosecutions have all been fired. We are going to be speaking with one of those prosecutors in just a moment. Beyond that, they appear to be in the midst of a mass purge at the FBI. At least a half dozen senior leaders of the FBI have already been told to resign or be fired on Monday. Beyond that senior leadership, though, they're also trying to remove just normal FBI line agents, potentially hundreds or even thousands of them. Now, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, this is still an emerging story. Details may yet evolve as this story develops and we learn more. My best understanding of what has happened thus far is this, and if I stand corrected by the end of this hour, I will not be surprised. But this is what I understand what I understand has happened just thus far. In an instruction that appears to have originated at the White House, Trump's hand-picked acting officials at the Justice Department directed FBI headquarters to hand over internal files from the Jack Smith cases, from the Trump classified documents case, from the Trump overthrow the election case. They were told, the FBI headquarters was told to hand over those files so a list could be made of all FBI line agents and FBI supervisors who were involved in those cases in any way. So personnel action could be taken against those FBI personnel. So they could be punished, removed, reassigned, or fired. The Washington Post reports tonight that FBI supervisors advised agents that any agents who worked on either of those two cases, the Jack Smith cases, FBI supervisors reportedly advised agents that they should be prepared for the Trump administration to release to the public the names of the FBI agents who worked on those cases before they would then be fired on Monday. So rather than just firing them, they were basically going to tell, Trump supporters, including those who were just let out of prison by Donald Trump, tell them, hey, here's the names of FBI agents who were part of all the January 6th investigations, the ones that targeted Trump. Don't worry, though, they're no longer agents. We're firing them today, so go ahead and have at them. Now, tonight, MSNBC's Ryan Riley has obtained a memo sent by the acting director of the FBI to all FBI personnel. And it would seem to indicate that even beyond those things that I have just described, beyond the prosecutors who did the two Trump cases, beyond FBI personnel at the senior levels of the FBI, beyond FBI personnel involved in the two Trump cases, what Ryan Riley's obtained tonight, this letter from the acting FBI director to all FBI personnel would seem to indicate that they are planning a massive purge beyond that. Some kind of purge against not just the agents who participated in some way in the two Jack Smith cases, where Trump was charged, but beyond that, they appear to be targeting all the FBI agents who were involved in any of the cases brought against January 6th rioters. And to put this in perspective, the January 6th riot cases make up the largest single investigation ever in the history of the Bureau. The January 6th cases are the largest criminal caseload ever assembled by the Department of Justice. If they are going to try to purge every FBI agent who took any part in any one of these well over 1,000 cases, that's kind of the whole FBI. I mean, not every single member of the FBI, but certainly most of the FBI. Here's the memo obtained tonight by MSNBC's Ryan Riley. Quote, colleagues, we understand there's a lot of media reporting and rumors surrounding potential changes at the FBI. This includes reporting and rumors about actions that very seriously impact our workforce. Consistent with our commitment to share information with you as we receive it, Acting Deputy Director Kassane and I want to provide you with an update. Late this afternoon, I received a memo from the Acting Deputy Attorney General notifying me that 8 senior FBI executives are to be terminated by specific dates unless these employees have retired beforehand. So 8 of them will be out unless they quit. Quote, I have been personally in touch with each of these impacted employees. The memo also directs me to provide by noon on Tuesday the following, quote, all current and former FBI personnel assigned at any time to investigations and or prosecutions relating to events that occurred at or near the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. And also, secondly, United States versus Haniyeh, which is, I believe, a case about Hamas and the October 7th attack. They want a list of all current and former FBI personnel assigned at any time to investigations or prosecutions related to January 6th or that one Hamas case. Quote, these lists should include relevant supervisory personnel in FBI regional offices and field divisions, as well as FBI headquarters. For each employee included in the list, provide the current title, office to which the person is assigned, role in the investigation or prosecution, and date of last activity relating to the investigation or prosecution. Upon timely receipt of the requested information, the Office of the Deputy Attorney General will commence a review process to determine whether additional personnel actions are necessary. The acting director of the FBI then tells personnel at the FBI, quote, we understand that this request encompasses thousands of FBI employees across the country who have supported these investigative efforts. I am one of those employees, as is Acting Deputy Director Kassane. As we have said since the moment we agreed to take on these roles, meaning the acting director and acting deputy director of the FBI, we are going to follow the law, follow FBI policy, and do what is in the best interest of the workforce and the American people always. We will be back in touch with more information as soon as we can. In the meantime, stay safe and take care of each other. Brian J. Driscoll Jr., Acting Director. Again, this letter tonight to all FBI personnel, it is from Brian Driscoll, who is the somewhat accidental Acting Director of the FBI. He's a longtime employee of the FBI. He's apparently part of the hostage rescue team. The Trump administration tried to name him to be the number 2. They tried to name him to be the acting deputy director of the FBI. There was a whole different guy, Robert Kassane, New York counterterrorism official, who was supposed to be named acting director. But the Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that the Trump administration actually mixed up which guy was which. They meant to name Kassane to be director and Driscoll to be deputy, but they screwed up and accidentally named Driscoll the director and Kassane the deputy. Once those two guys realized that they'd been named for the wrong jobs, they just decided it would be easier to switch jobs and switch offices. So that's how we got Brian Driscoll as the acting director of the FBI tonight. As former Trump defense lawyer Emil Bove at the Justice Department, possibly on orders from the White House, has demanded a list of every single FBI agent in the entire country who worked on any January 6th case in any capacity at all. And even though that includes the new acting director and the new acting deputy director, who Trump himself just ham-handedly accidentally appointed, they say the reason they want that list is because they're going to review it for potential personnel action against all those agents. Again, that is thousands of FBI agents all across the country. And again, this is a developing story. This is as clear